Good morning everyone, today we have something you've probably all been eagerly looking forward to, because finally we take one step closer to the most powerful sword in Terraria by looking at the Knight's Edge, but as a bonus we will also be looking over its true variant as well. The Knight's Edge is a resultant weapon when 4 elemental blades are forged together. As it's understood, the fiery greatsword, the Muramasa, and the blade of grass are absolutely mandatory. However, the Knight's Edge only requires one of either the Blood Butcherer or the Light Bane, and can be interchanged without consequence. The true Knight's Edge is obtained when the standard variant is reforged with the Hero's Blade, drastically increasing its damage and allowing it to summon an ethereal projection. While the Knight's Edge and True Knight's Edge are, for all intents and purposes, separate weapons, they do share enough similarities in history for them to be discussed together. Even though the standard version of the blade takes some effort to put together, having to source 4 of 5 special blades, it is widely considered to be an incomplete facsimile of the true variant, hence the True Knight's Edge's moniker. As might be expected, there are significant differences between the two swords, the most noticeable in the face of it being that the true version is much larger and contains colourful elements, but more specifically, other than it being much more powerful, the true variant is able to launch a projectile known as the Night Beam, which more closely resembles the standard Knight's Edge in shape. The fact that the lesser version of the blade is unable to do this hints that there is some sort of innate magic that is meant to be associated with the blade. By extension, this also implies that this power is contained within the broken hero's sword, albeit in an unusable form, and is imparted to the Knight's Edge when the two are forged together. As has been mentioned in previous lectures, the theories that attempt to describe the history of the Knight's Edge are long and complex, but suffice to say that the blade is thought by some to originate with the lizards before they came to occupy the jungle temple. It is said that the original, now considered to be true, Knight's Edge was first created during a great time of strife for their people, when their civilization fell into civil war between the lunar and solar worshippers. Due to its elemental and some believe dark power, the Knight's Edge is thought to have been crafted en masse by the lunar disciples, complete with their original magical abilities, only to be broken and left strewn across the battlefields. Later, the shattered blades are believed to have been collected by the Mothrans in their attempt to hide the power of the weapons and ensure a conflict such as the Solar War never broke out again. It may be somehow poetic then, that the true Knight's Edge and its counterpart in light, the true Excalibur, weapons which were once used against each other to the point where they literally shattered, are able to be crafted together to form one of the most powerful and balanced weapons in the whole of Terraria. The Knight's Edge, in both of its variants, is without a doubt one of the most interesting items in the whole of Terraria, not least because it requires a complete weapon rack to craft, but in that it's part of a progression that leads from some of the most basic elemental weapons through to literally the most powerful blade in existence. Because of the disparity in their power, however, the two swords have been given separate artifact ratings, with the basic Knight's Edge ranked as significant and the true Knight's Edge as remarkable. So, 2 ratings in 1, but you weren't expecting that when you woke up this morning. Of course, these days you have to be ready for just about anything, so who knows. With the Knight's Edge scratched off, it does mean we're getting pretty close to closing out our... Wait, hang on. What do you mean another? It's called the Zenith? It has how many swords? Ugh, fine. Yeah, so we could be with this for a while. Be sure to subscribe for more course content and be on the lookout for my new lecture series, Profiles, if you're a Patreon supporter of any tier. Take care everyone, and I'll see you next week.